This presentation will focus on some of the key elements, concepts and theories of inclusive education within the prison service in Ireland. We will do this by examining existing research, national and international policies in the area, such as UNESCO's Education in Prison, a literature review, and outlining the viewpoints of key theorists, such as Anne Costello and Paulo Freire. Let's begin by looking at what is inclusive education. Everyone has a fundamental right to education and must be given the opportunity to achieve and maintain an acceptable level of learning. Education systems should be designed and educational programs implemented to take into account the wide diversity of these characteristics and needs. This Salamanca statement is further supported by UNESCO, who state, education is a fundamental human right of which prisoners should not be deprived. What is prison education? It's education that takes place within a prison. It's known as correctional education outside of Europe, and these educational services are available in all prisons in Ireland. In Ireland, currently all prisons provide education. This service is provided through partnership with the Irish Prison Service and the Education and Training Boards. The Irish Prison Service has developed a 3-year joint education strategy with the Education and Training Board, Public Library Services and the Open University. A number of programmes are co-funded with the Irish Arts Council. The Department of Education and Skills provides 220 hours of whole-time teacher equivalents. Broad programmes of education are made available, which generally follow the adult education approach. Literacy, numeracy, and general basic education provision is the priority. Junior certificate, learning certificate, and QQI accredited courses are made available. Flexible curriculum and multiple entry and exit points are extremely important to the prison service. Now let's look at diversity in prison education. Programmes are adapted to take into account the diversity of the prisoner population. There are 66 nationalities represented in Irish prisons. There are currently 14 prison institutions in Ireland, 12 male and 2 female. The provision of education in prison contributes to the national and EU social inclusion policy objectives of tackling social disadvantage. Why prison education? According to Rule 28 of the European Prison Rules, every prison shall seek to provide all prisoners with access to educational programmes which are as comprehensive as possible and which meet their individual needs while taking into account their aspirations. And as far as practical, the education of prisoners shall be integrated with the education and vocational training system of the country. So let's have a look at the prison system in Ireland. As of the 1st of September 2023, Ireland had 4,612 prisoners spread across 12 institutions. According to the Irish Times, overall 4 out of 5 prisoners left school before their leaving cert. Just over half of prisoners dropped out of school before the junior certificate. And just over a quarter never attended secondary school. Prisoners are 23 times more likely to come from and return to a seriously deprived area. Over 70% of prisoners were unemployed on committal, and a similar percentage self-report as not having any particular trade or occupation. Despite being referred to as second chance education, prison education is an opportunity to catch up as opposed to top up. Does prison education work? UNESCO states that prisoners who participate in education and training programs are less likely to return to prison. According to Costello, prison education in Ireland is successful due to the delivery partnerships between the Irish Prison Service and the Education and Training Boards, as it provides a professional service delivered by educational experts, which is tailored to the unique needs of the prison population, as the curriculum is wide and adult-centred. Paulo Freire is a Brazilian educator and philosopher, and he's a leading advocate of critical pedagogy. His most famous work, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, is the third most cited book in the social sciences. He is most famous for stating, "Education doesn't change the world. Education changes people, and people change the world." An example of which is Dr. Daniel Gate, who is a former prisoner, but is now the president of Ward College and an advocate for prison education. He states, one of the greatest possibilities in the world is to change individuals through education. To recap what we have discussed, education in prison is a fundamental human right. We have seen how this is catered for within the Irish Prison Service and have examined national and international policies and the views of key theorists in this area. Finally, as Anne Costello tells us, education in prison is a catalyst for change. And I will leave you with the thoughts of Dr. Daniel Gate, who states, "Those who open a school close a prison."